and welcome to episode 5 of the Thriving as a Lifelong Learner interview series. Today, my guest is Arsalan Minhas. He's from Munich. In fact, he's from Pakistan, but he will tell you more about his journey to where he is now in this moment in his life. We met briefly during New Tycoon training, let's say a month ago. And then we met again last weekend in Belgrade. And we talked, and I thought to myself, this is a truly, truly clever guy. I need to interview him. And I thought, okay, he's using a lot more of his brain than regular people do. And I'm so happy that he accepted my invitation. Hi, Arsalan, and welcome.
Hi, Daniela. Thank you very much for the compliment. I don't think I really deserve that. No, but thank you very much for the compliment.
Yes, you surely do. When I looked you up on LinkedIn, I got even more, how should I say, determined to have this interview with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let us start by you telling us a bit more about your life journey up to this moment.
So, as you already said, and in fact you already know that I was born and raised in Pakistan. I'm coming from Pakistan, and I grew up there. I also did my graduation, my bachelor's from a university in Karachi. And this is how actually I started. I started my career with a Silicon Valley based, with a US-based software company. And so I should say that I was fortunate enough to really work with world-leading giants and Fortune 100 companies right in the beginning of my career. It was later on in 2004, I was approached by Siemens and the German government, DAAD or DAAD, to come to Germany, carry out my master's from a university in Hamburg, and also to consult Siemens. And that was and they were providing me the entire funding and the scholarship to do all this master's at their cost. So that was a great opportunity and also an interesting opportunity, because I thought at that time that I've never been to Europe or never been to a country where people don't speak English as I would say as the national, as the mother language. So I wanted to basically take on this challenge and explore Germany, explore Europe. So I basically came to Germany in 2004, completed my master's, also worked with Siemens in parallel. And although I was supposed to return back after 2 years, but you never know how things change, how things happen. I started enjoying the country, the people, especially this European diversity, that in a couple of hours you could be in a different place, speaking different language, eating different food, enjoying different culture and history. That was quite fascinating. It was quite interesting for me. So in the end, I ended up staying here in Germany. So now it has been almost 14 years, since 2004. I am living and working here in Germany. So this is from where actually I'm coming from, a quick introduction about myself.
Yeah, great. And was it difficult for you to learn the language, or?
It was quite interesting, because the first 2 years when I was in Hamburg, from 2004 till end of 2005, I should admit that I hardly spoke a single word of German. I didn't need that for my studies. I didn't need that while working with Siemens. I used to carry out all my work using English.
Yes.
It was only in 2006 when I was literally thinking where I would like to see myself.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, if I want to stay here in Germany, it makes a lot of sense to learn the local language, especially when you are dealing with a lot of customers, when you are managing people, you need to know the language. And not only that, I mean, if you really want to mingle up with the people, mix up with the people, know the culture, you need to speak the local language. Then actually I ended up in taking a 2-3 months language course from Goethe Institute. Those 2-3 months course provided me the basic grammar.
Yeah.
However, I had to make sure that I practice a lot with my neighbors, with my colleagues, with my friends in German. And that practice was the real difference, because that
Yes.
basically allowed me to overcome that barrier,
Mm-hmm.
uh, or the reluctance which typically you have when you want to learn a new language. So I should say that, okay, I will never be a native speaker, but I'm able to manage my work
Yeah.
in German. So, but yeah, for me, I have not studied it for the entire year, which most of the people suggest that you need to learn the language for 9 to 12 months for business communication. I did that only for 2 to 3 months. But as I said, I mean, practice makes you perfect. The more you practice, the better you become.
Yes, yes. Practice makes perfect, like some people say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for your answer. And what do you do now for a living?
So I am currently engaged with a global software organization, OpenText. It's a global software organization. We are the world's leaders when it comes to enterprise information management. The global headquarters is in Waterloo in Canada. The European headquarters is in Munich in Germany. So I'm with them, and I'm running their pre-sales and consulting operations for Central Europe. So this is what actually I am doing. So as part of my responsibility, me and my team, we have been engaged with Fortune 1000 companies, leading large enterprises in Germany and also in Central Europe, advising, coaching, and consulting the CIOs and the top executives to transform their business models, to help them in becoming the digital disruptors, how they can uh, uh, gain more market share, and how they can become more profitable, how they can save their costs through a digital transformation journey together with OpenText. So this is what actually me and my team have been doing for the last several years. And as I said, I mean, we deal in business processes from engagement to insights, everything which involves engagement, automation, and driving useful, actionable information through insights comes under the umbrella of the different offerings and the software offerings that we have within the OpenText portfolio.
Okay, and this, I suppose this means you get to travel a lot for your work.
Well, that's true. That's true. And I always say that when the Lufthansa crew starts recognizing you, you have to ask yourself that something in your life perhaps needs to be fixed. But you're right. I mean, travel is one of the key components of my life.
Okay, thank you. When was the first time, so you know this interview series is targeted to people who are lifelong learners and who never stop learning. When was the first time that you've consciously started to invest in yourself, like buying something, courses, books or something?
So that's very good question. So thank you for asking this question, Daniela. I strongly believe in education and the fact that learning should never end. So there is no age limit when it comes to learning. You should be learning throughout your life. And I should say that, okay, I did my bachelor's, I did my master's, I learned a lot I would say learning by doing, or as part of my job, as part of my business and so on. I have learned a lot. And what I have found is that there is stuff that you learn from schools, there is stuff that you can learn in your businesses or in your job, but there is stuff that is still missing, which typically is not covered in the conventional
education.
Absolutely, it's conventional education. And so for example, last year I came across an interesting organization, Success Resources, that cover exactly that gap.
Mm-hmm.
For example, not many people are aware how they can become financially free, how they should be generating more passive business income. Or for example, functional knowledge is important, but soft skills like rhetoric skills, communication skills, public speaking skills are also very important when it comes to growing your career or growing up in any organization.
Yes.
So, and this was exactly the education that I found that Success Resources was covering as part of their workshops and seminars conducting by leading entrepreneurs, in fact, one of the world's best entrepreneurs and successful businessmen. And you learn that not in a pure academic manner, but really through those people who have gone through those journeys, who have experienced the problems and solved those problems. And it's nothing better than learning from those people's firsthand. So, and then I decided also, for example, to invest further along the lines of those skills, those soft skills, which are also very vital for being a successful businessman or successful in your profession. And I believe that this is everyone should be doing, and there is no age limit, as I already said, to this type of education.
Yes. Well, when was the first Success Resources event that you took part in?
So it's a quite interesting journey. So one of my very good friend, in fact, is also my financial advisor, Dirk Ludwig.
Yeah, I know him. Also interviewed him.
Well, that's really good to hear. So actually, he invited me to join a seminar over a weekend last year in Munich. And that was a Millionaire Mind Intensive, a seminar from Success Resources. And to be very honest, I went to that seminar without any expectations. I was just there, okay, I'll spend a weekend with Dirk and see what actually comes along. So I just went there without having any expectations at all. However, during the course of the seminar, I realized, wow, there is special programs or special workshops or education around financial freedom, or for instance, public speaking, public training, and so on. And I ended up, as I said, not planned, but I ended up in signing for the Quantum Leap program, which they offer. And so this is how actually, and then I did my very first workshop on Guerrilla Business Intensive this year in Milan, which was followed by a Financial Traders Intensive workshop in London. So now I have already attended a couple of events from Success Resources. And I should say that I'm quite happy with the quality of the education which is being imparted and delivered by those leading entrepreneurs and trainers. And the difference, as I already mentioned, is not theory. It's not really pure academic. You're learning from the people who have gone.
The environment in which everything happens.
Exactly.
Yes, this is great. And how people react, how ordinary people react who are not yet financially independent, let's say, or don't have a business yet, but the energy that emanates in those rooms is tremendous, I believe.
Absolutely. And especially, I should say that, okay, in my case, I was fortunate. I mean, I went through some world best schooling. I got the chance to work with one of the best companies to gain experiences and so on. But education is something which is not really affordable for everyone. And especially if you want to learn, if you want to go through this life-changing education and want to learn from the world's best.
Yes, then it will cost something.
Exactly. And this is where, for example, if I look at what Success Resources has been doing, how to get those people into the mainstream and impart this education. So they're doing a very good work in that direction. So they are really disrupting.
Yes, they are.
Education sector. We talk about the disruption all the time happening in different sectors. But when it comes to education, I should say that Success Resources is one of the disruptors in this sector.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I only wish more people could attend at least a Millionaire Mind Intensive because in my case, the seminar in Frankfurt this May has changed my life. I'm not sure if you got the chance to read my latest blog post. I entitled it, It All Began in Frankfurt. Maybe you'll have the time to read it. And I got so much great feedback on my post because people could see the difference that this seminar has made in my life, and how it helped me grow in these 3 months since I was there in Frankfurt. So it was a tremendous growth for me, at least.
I can completely understand that, and I'm really glad to hear that you have found a difference after attending that seminar as compared to what you were experiencing before that seminar.
Yes, it was an amazing experience, and I plan to repeat it someday and take my son with me, because he needs to reprogram his mind as well, especially when it concerns money and attracting wealth and stuff like that. Okay, my next question is a bit oriented towards the future, but not so much until the end of 2017. If you can share with us some of your plans and goals that you want to achieve until the end of this year.
So you're talking about more from a short to mid-term goals or the plans you have?
Yes.
I mean, as I already said that, I mean, one of the reasons why I started investing in my education, especially along the lines of public speaking, training, rhetoric, and communication skills, is the fact that today I'm already doing a lot of public speaking as part of the events that we organized under the umbrella of Open Text across the globe, where I'm basically representing Open Text and delivering the message around the lines of digital transformation and how we can basically help the different executives to carry out the, I would say, to benefit from the digital transformation journeys and disrupt within their industry sectors. But I realized that there's, I can polish those public speaking skills. I can polish my training skills even further through the content, through the different workshops which are delivered by Success Resources. On the other hand side, what I realized also was that perhaps it's much more that needs to happen when it comes to generating more passive business streams.
Mm-hmm.
So educating more along the lines of financial freedom. And this is something which I'm also basically targeting to get more education along these lines under the umbrella of Success Resources. And so, but one thing which I should also mention that so far we are discussing Success Resources, but they have one program where I am also involved, which is the New Tycoon.
Yes.
And I do want to mention that because, okay, Success Resources is the organization that basically delivers those workshops and seminars. But New Tycoon is basically where they bring the learning and the earning together as part of one program, which means that not only you benefit from the life-changing education, but if it's too expensive, then it becomes difficult for people to even embark on this journey. But if you can basically provide an intensive, if people can also make good money through that education, it becomes a quite compelling situation for them. And this is what basically New Tycoon is doing, that they introduce the concept of learn and earn. So instead of paying for the education, it allows people to earn while they learn. Hence, they are alleviating the biggest barrier to affordability. And not only that, they are literally also leveraging the trend which around the enterprise mobility, around the mobile phones. These days, everyone is having a mobile device. So if you can bring that education on the fingertips on a mobile device, it becomes accessible to everyone. So I'm also involved in that program, and I'm seeing that there's a big potential for people who are not able to grow because of that missing education, and the fact that they can also increase their income irrespective of their background. this is something where I am also involved, and I want to make sure that the people, the ordinary people around us can change their lives, and we can bring a difference in their lives through the concept, through the new concept, disruptive concept, which is introduced by New Tycoon under the umbrella of Success Resources. This is something which I also am doing and will plan to do also more further in 2017 and 18 as part of my short and midterm goals.
Yes, thank you so much. To wrap up our very interesting conversation, I would like to ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? So this means 2022.
Okay, that's talking about really the distant future. But
Yes.
definitely, I mean, I see myself as one of the top business coaches, and also as one of the a person who delivers the training and the guidance around not only the digital disruption, but also along the lines of leadership, management, and how to basically run big organizations, keeping in view the demands of the digital era. So this is something where I have experience. I want to grow further along those lines, and I want to make sure that I'm able to guide, coach, consult, and also train the top executives along these lines moving forward.
Yeah, that's great. But have you thought of starting your own business, coaching business and training?
So that would be basically the end game, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already doing that, but I want to make sure that I'll make it. Why don't I make it basically my own business and deliver that? So something that is definitely part of my end goal, definitely.
Yeah. I believe you will be very successful.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for your time and your insights, and for accepting me to ask you these questions. All my best, and keep in touch.
Well, thank you, Daniela, for inviting, and thank you very much for your time as well. Really appreciate that.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.